Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Thursday, September 27, 2012. Last night at about 7:40 p.m. Eastern Time in the U.S., a very powerful earthquake struck Alaska. It was originally measured on the Richter scale of 6.9. It's since been reduced down to a 6.4. It struck a remote island in the Aleutian chain. It was one of the islands, in fact, that happened to be inhabited. It was a 300-person inhabited island of Adak. There were no reports of any damage or injuries, but everybody felt it. In a short while, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be addressing the UN General Assembly. He's expected once again to outline or call for the outlining of a bright red line over which, if the Iranians cross in their stages of development on nuclear weapons, an attack by the West, specifically Israel, could be incurred. However, today the Jerusalem-based newspaper Haaretz leaked a new Israeli government report concluding that international sanctions are in fact hitting Iran very hard, something the Prime Minister thinks is not the case, apparently. This report surfaced only several days after Israel's foreign minister predicted that Iran's leadership would face an Arab Spring-style popular revolt within the next 12 months. According to the leaked report in the Israeli paper, Iran's oil exports have now declined by over 50% in the past 12 months. Oil revenues have dropped by $40 billion from the beginning of the year. Sanctions on Iran's central bank have made it difficult for the regime to access its foreign currency reserves, causing a 100% gap between the country's official exchange rate, where the Iranian currency, the rial, and where the rial is trading on the black market. Bread, meat, and electricity prices have also soared because of the sanctions, again according to the report. Well, liquefied natural gas, those big bulbous containers that are seen on tanker ships plowing the world's seas, are known to essentially be floating bombs. That's a big concern in countries that are establishing LNG ports where these ships can put in and offload and load. A near disaster was averted last evening in the Sunda Straits in Indonesia. Police are holding the crew of an LNG tanker for questioning following a collision with a passenger ferry that left 8 people dead and sent the ferry to the bottom. According to the Indonesian police, the accident occurred at about 4:40 a.m. after the ferry, the Baihuga Jaya, collided with the liquid natural gas tanker Norgas Kathinka. The two ships encountered each other in the narrow straits. The ferry attempted to turn to let the tanker pass. However, the tanker turned at the same time into the direction of the ferry, colliding with it. The ferry keeled over and went to the bottom. The tanker did not stop. It continued to proceed north. The Indonesian authorities ordered the Coast Guard to stop the tanker, which they did, and then they escorted the tanker into port. Singapore based Norgas Carriers, which operates the tanker, confirmed in a press statement that their ship was involved in a collision. It had sustained some structural damage. However, the cargo of propylene is secure and there is no pollution or environmental damage from the vessel. The Norwegian company IM Skaugen, which owns the ship, expressed condolences over the loss of life and vowed to cooperate. The company also confirmed that it has protection and indemnity insurance cover in place for all of its ships and operations, protecting it against third-party damages and personnel injuries. The Norwegian Marine Mutual and international group member GARD provides P&I cover to Norgas Kathinka. Well, if you were on the Bank of America, JP Morgan, Citigroup, US Bancorp, or PNC or Wells Fargo websites yesterday, you probably were a little frustrated. Service was really slow. And that's because there was a denial of service attack. There's actually a name for this now, a DDoS attack that had been put in place by a hacking group called Izz ad-Din al-Qassam cyber fighters. Izz ad-Din al-Qassam cyber fighters. They say they're going to continue the attacks on American financial institution websites until the 14-minute anti-Islamic video that was produced by the Coptic group in California mocking Prophet Muhammad is pulled from the internet. Unbelievable. It's a factory explosion Wednesday yesterday, unfortunately. Here we go. In South Korea, an explosion sparked by a yet unidentified cause at a chemical factory in Gumi, southeast South Korea, has killed 3 workers. The plant is owned by the Gumi National Industrial Complex. It's located about 120 miles southeast of Seoul. In China, 2 workers were killed and 7 more injured at a chemical plant explosion in Guangxi Autonomous Province yesterday. It happened at a purification workshop run by the Hechi Chemical Industrial Group. The company is a subsidiary of the state-owned China National Chemical Corporation. And also in New Brunswick, Canada, an explosion at an Irving oil refinery that shut down the facility for about an hour caused a spike in gasoline futures almost immediately in New York. The 300,000 barrel a day refinery was back online in just about 55 minutes. China's biggest steelmaker said today that it has shut down a steel mill in Shanghai. This is a new sign of weakening growth in the world's second largest economy. Bao Steel Group said that it's closing its mill in Shanghai to avoid mounting losses at the facility amid weak demand for steel plating that's used in shipbuilding and construction. The company grew fast as investment in new factories and other assets soared in the years before the 2008 global crisis, and now production capacity far outstrips the very weak demand. Well, there's something that is to be said for a planned economy. This certainly is not one of them. Add to this the cataclysmic potential of civil and social unrest in China that would make what's happening in Spain and Greece pale in comparison. I do not understand why people invest in China. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching.